Takashi Kotegawa hasn't been seen or heard from in well over a decade now. Yet his wealth, which started with a modest $15,000 around 20 years ago, has grown so massive that it has become almost impossible for him to conduct his trades and real estate dealings without leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for us to follow. That's right. One consequence of him having so much money is that he sometimes ends up owning a good chunk of the companies he invests in, sometimes as much as 5%. We know this because, in Japan, publicly traded companies publish what is called a Securities Report every 6 months, in which they list all the major shareholders and their ownership percentage. So for example, as of September 30th, 2022, the Master Trust Bank of Japan was the largest shareholder in Toyota, with a 13.5% stake. JP Morgan Chase Bank was the 5th largest shareholder, and owned just over 4% of the company. This is pretty boring stuff, with these lists being populated mostly by banks, trusts, insurance companies, etc., but every now and then you see a name you normally wouldn't expect. Between 2014 and 2021, Takashi Kotegawa appeared on the Securities Reports for 19 companies, in some cases remaining a major shareholder for a period of several years. One name that immediately stands out from this list is ImageOne, which is a company known for its extreme volatility. A graph is worth 1,000 words, but just to give you some perspective, this is the kind of stock that not too long ago rose by 175% and then fell 50% from the top, all in the span of a single month. BNF ended up owning 3.12% of ImageOne back in 2014, and I assume he made out quite handsomely, as the company saw tremendous upside volatility during this time, routinely going up 15 to 20% in a single day, and more than doubling over a 2-week period in late August of that year. Perplexingly enough, his name is absent from the securities report for the time frame covering ImageOne's huge price spike in the spring of 2021. One would have expected him to have employed the same playbook he did back in 2014, but it would seem that, for whatever reason, he missed the boat on this one. Looking at his long-term holdings during this period, one thing I noticed is how he demonstrates an ability to skillfully position himself ahead of major price moves. He did this with Ichikura, probably capturing a 60% move between March and December 2016. The stock then traded within a narrow range around 1,100 yen, ultimately spiking to 1,200 in January 2018. His name last appeared on the company's securities report in September 2017, so it's conceivable he played this range for a couple of months before using that final spike to 1,200 as his exit ramp. Same story with Faltec, which shot up 35% between March and June 2014, and then again close to 30% between July 2016 and March 2017. It did fall significantly throughout 2018 though, only recovering in late 2019, long after BNF's name had disappeared from the securities report, so there's a chance things didn't go exactly according to plan for him on this one. Finally, we have the Orient Corporation, again spiking by 40% within less than a year of him taking a position in or around March 2015. Lastly, he has also become a bit of a real estate mogul, successfully selling the Chomp Chomp Akihabara building and then parlaying those profits into the purchase of a new piece of commercial real estate, this time in Sapporo's entertainment district of Susukino. Unfortunately, his timing couldn't have been much worse, since the building was completed in early 2020. In fact, when I paid a visit back in May of 2022, as far as I could tell, the building only had 2 tenants, a hair salon and a high-end chocolaterie/tea salon. Needless to say, these are paltry numbers for a 9th-floor building in one of Japan's busiest districts. Google Maps only goes back to May of 2021, so short of hopping on a plane to Sapporo, it's impossible to know if more tenants have begun populating the building or not, but if there has been an improvement, I expect it to have been of a gradual nature. In summation, so far, BNF's investment in the Lydia building doesn't seem to be working so well, with what one would expect to be anemic tenant revenue figures for 2020, 2021, and 2022. Still, not only is the Sapporo property probably a minuscule part of Takashi Kotegawa's overall portfolio, but also his trading prowess more than makes up for these kinds of mishaps. At this point, I doubt even 10 failed real estate dealings would be enough to end his investment career. Takashi Kotegawa is a rock star in the world of investing, but he's far from the only prodigy to hail from the land of the rising sun. Click this video here if you'd like to learn about the exploits of Akira Katayama, who, like BNF, parlayed $6,000 into a colossal fortune of close to $150 million.